Hi everyone, welcome to UPSC Tree. We have only few more days to go for the OPSC prelims 2020, and many of you have written to us asking us what to do in these few days, and not much can be done in this 10 to 10 more odd days. So nonetheless, I am telling you what to do in these 10 more days so that you can streamline your preparation and make the best out of this few more days that is left with you. Okay. So let's begin. Uh, I have this discussion will be divided into few parts. So I will be discussing one part and what to do in that particular day in that particular period of time. So first one is what to do in the next 10 days. So these are the most crucial 10 days you have with you. You have been reading for the whole year. This is the time for you to sign. Okay. So let's divide it 5 days and 5 days. If you look at it, I will suggest you to do one thing in this next 5 days. Take mock tests. Doesn't matter which institute or where you are taking the test from. Complete all your mock test. Okay, and once you complete all your mock test, then you go ahead and do the revision in the next 5 days prior to the prelims. Okay. Why I am asking you to take the mock test now and then the revision towards the while you are nearing the prelims, because while you take the mock test you will come to know your weak areas, weak sections where you are unable to score high. Okay. So what you can do, find out the weak area in this five days. Okay, and then focus on this weak area in the revision section. Also, while doing the revision, focus on these parts should be there. Polity, history, although they are asking ancient India and medieval India questions, also sometimes history related to Odisha as well. Nonetheless, there are only few questions, say 3 or 4 questions. If you haven't read at all, then don't focus now. But if you have read it, then only revise it. Okay. I will suggest you these are the focus areas: polity, modern India, okay, geography, and current affairs. Your current affairs should cover environment, science and tech, all other aspects, sports, Nobel Prize and all that. Okay, you might have seen the past OPSC prelims papers. Okay, and according to that we can do the current affairs reading. And while doing the current affairs reading, I know the materials that you get from the internet and all is very exhaustive. It wears you down at times, and too much information is there with you to remember, which becomes difficult and it is burdensome on the aspirants as well. Okay, so what I will ask you to do is focus on only important things, and second, most importantly, while you are doing it, do a cursory reading. Do a cursory reading, that is ऊपर से पढ़ना, ज़्यादा अंदर नहीं जाना. Okay, for UPSC the approach is completely different. For OPSC, a cursory reading of current affairs will do. You have to remember some facts, some figures and all that. That you have to mug it up. There is no other way around it. Okay, do that and do a cursory reading so that the burden will be much lesser on you and you will be able to easily manage the current affairs portion. And focus on last 1 year, and mostly your focus should be last 6 months current affairs will be very important for you. Okay, so try to cover it. And so take the mock test, and in this period of time only whatever you have to cover it, and in next 5 days towards the prelims you must do one thing, that is only revision. You should not read anything new at that point of time. Okay. Next, this 10 days will give you some idea, you know, how to go about it and all that. Okay. If you have any particular question on any particular section, then you can directly reach me. Okay. And what to do on the D-Day -1, that is prelims day. Prelims is on August 27th. On August 26th, what you have to do? Okay. See, I will be telling you some trivial things, but these things help you keep your mind sorted, your, you know, psychologically you will be more sorted. Okay. So, what to do on the D-Day -1? What you can do? First, keep your exam day things sorted. What does this mean? You must take your admit card, you must have your pen, paper, everything, put it in a particular place in your home and then keep it sorted. Everything that you no need to worry on the exam day. Okay. Do it at least D-Day -1 or in, you know, prior to prelims. You must get these things sorted. These are the small things, but if you are, you know, trying to find your identity card or your Aadhaar card on the exam day, it will be much difficult for you and it creates a psychological, you know, worry. Okay. So, you have to avoid that aspect as well. Okay. So, keep your things sorted and D-Day -1, take adequate sleep. If you take adequate sleep, your mind on that particular day will be functioning better. Okay. And if you have a very, and keep your routine in the next 10 days, keep your mind active in the daytime, especially those hours you will be sitting in the exam. At that particular time of the exam, your mind should be active. In these 10 days, try to achieve that. Okay. Suppose some people take a nap after, you know, taking their lunch and all. Don't do that because you will have a paper to, you know, write. So, don't do that in the next 10 days. That kind of thing you can do so that your routine is aligned with the exam. Okay. What to do on the D-Day? This is most important. Most of the people worry. Most of the people try to finish as much as they can, you know, on that D-Day as well. Don't do that. Okay. I will not suggest you to read anything new. However, on the D-Day, till you enter the exam, keep reading, okay, or keep revising, because even you never know, 2 or 3 questions can, you know, change the whole aspect or, you know, your whole years of preparation. Okay. So, keep reading until your foot is inside the examination hall or inside the gate. Okay. But that reading is not something that you you should not be reading something new. You should be revising. Okay. Most importantly, I would suggest keep an atlas and look at the maps before entering the exam. That will help you, or keep something, you know, we have say grouping, say European Union. There was a question on last year, European Union. Similarly, BIMSTEC and all other groupings, that important groupings you have. What are the countries are part of, you know, on that grouping, that kind of thing you can remember. These are the facts that you can remember or you can mug up towards or while you are nearing the exam. That way it will be in your mind and it will help you, you know, clear the exam. Okay. So, atlas, groupings, anything fact based that you have to mug it up, say Nobel Prize winners and all that. Okay. That you can do towards the D-Day as well and keep revising them before entering the exam hall. Okay. Once you keep everything sorted for that exam day, what you can do is you might come across a feeling that you don't remember anything or, you know, you are blanking out. That is stress getting the better of you. So, don't let that happen. Keep calm. Once you are inside the gate, once you sit to write the papers, the things will come automatically to you. So, but many aspirants do experience this phenomena. So, don't stress too much on it. Okay. And second, what we can do on the exam day, many people have written, you know, what are the ideal number of questions that you should attend, or how many questions should be attended in this particular exam to clear it. See, that depends on accuracy as well. If you look at UPSC, OPSC, 100 somewhere 100 plus score is very comfortable mark. You will be easily clear the prelims, and to achieve that, what you can do is you can see, once the question paper is with you, I will advise you to read the question paper twice. Okay. mark the questions that you are 100% sure. Say if you are say 100% sure of 50 questions or 60 questions, then next 15 questions you can take an analytical guess. That means there must be some logic to arrive at that particular answer option. If there is no logic to arrive at that particular answer option, then you should not attempt those questions. Okay, there will be certain questions that you must not look at all. Okay, they will be either you haven't heard about it at all, or you don't know about it, or it is a fact based, and there you don't have any logic or analysis to apply to it. Then that kind of question should not be looked twice. Okay, those are the questions you should leave as it is. Okay, don't tukkabazi mat karna. See, tukkabazi, it a human tendency to go for tukkabazi. So you can say 2 questions you can do, but not more than that. Okay, because it will backfire. So don't do tukkabazi too much. And in the first reading, find out how many questions you are able to answer comfortably and you are 100% sure. Then and only then you will make your next strategy. Say if you are 100% sure of 40 questions, then analytically you should go about 20 more questions or 25 more questions through analysis. Okay, so that you should do. The objective is to score 100 plus marks. Okay, so that there is no fear that whether I should prepare for mains or not. Okay, nonetheless the cutoffs are much lower than 100 marks if you look at past cutoffs. Okay, somewhere around 87, 90, the cutoffs are like that. Why I am saying you 100 plus is just to be to be on the safer side. Okay, and then what we can do, and while doing the mock test, try to do those mock tests which are very OPSC oriented. If you go do mock tests which are where the questions are like ASO type of questions, don't do that, or too much UPSC type of questions are not going to help you. OPSC is somewhere lies between far beyond the ASO standard, but little lower than the UPSC standard. So you have to find your OPSC kind of questions and attend those mock tests. Doing unnecessary questions, say 5,000 questions, which are not going to come in OPSC, is only going to backfire on you. So choose your mock tests wisely. That is where you invest your time properly. Okay, and then if you look at the trends, science and tech, environment, these things are going to dominate obviously. If you look at the current affairs aspect, also OPSC is known to ask the basic questions, NCERT based questions. So have a good hold over these questions. Okay, and also Ashutosh has done an analysis from which section how many questions are coming, and according to that you can you can prioritize your studies. Go and check out that video given by Ashutosh. That is very helpful. Okay, so you'll know how many questions are coming from each section, so that you'll know which section to focus and all that. Okay, and few of the students have written about CSAT. Okay, CSAT is only qualifying, and what I believe is that if you are preparing for civil service, you have been a good student somewhere in your life. Okay, it's not that someone who has never been a good student comes and prepares for civil service. That doesn't happen at all. So you have the confidence in you. You have those things inside you. That's why you have chosen to prepare for civil service. So, and if you look at CSAT paper, what you can do is you can do the practice. You can do some. You can take some previous year questions and do some practice. And second, try to find out your strong sections. Whether you are good in reading comprehension, whether you are good in reasoning, or whether you are good in maths. And if you are good in quant, what kind of quant? Is it time and time, distance and work, that kind of question you good at it, or some other kind of questions? I would advise don't go for probability based questions. They are very dicey and can backfire most of the time. So and most importantly, while doing the math questions, see, apply this principle of moving on. Okay, if a question is taking more than 1 minute, move on to the next question. There is no point in wasting too much time on a single question in CSAT paper. Okay, so try to find out your strength area, focus on that and finish that first, and then try to pick out the important parts or questions that you can solve with your knowledge. Okay, so the idea is to score 33%, that is 66 marks, I think. So if you score somewhere around 75 or 80, your overall score, you are comfortably getting through. So no need to worry on that. And if you haven't practiced and if you are skeptical of CSAT, then I would suggest take last 2 years questions in this 10 days and practice them. Take out say 2 hours or 3 hours of your time and practice them, and try to find out the basic formulas as well, which arithmetic formulas that is going to help you. Okay, so all you have to do is get the CSAT, get the passing marks in CSAT. Okay, and most importantly, if you look at prelims as a overall phenomena, prelims is is only getting your foot inside the door. It is not, it doesn't matter how much you score, you just have to score enough so that you are comfortably clearing this prelims exam. Okay, so this is the first hurdle, and it is the least of your hurdles actually. The main issue starts in the mains exam. Okay, so here stay calm, collected, you are not going to lose anything. Okay, if you stress out or if you don't let anxiety take over you, stay calm. Whatever keeps you calm, try to do that. Okay, because you cannot win a battle being rattled within. Okay, and few students have written that they are working professionals, some are working in IT and all, so they are unable to make the time management or unable to get the time to read properly for this exam. I would suggest don't make it your excuse. Okay, if you look at the full time aspirant as well, how much a student can read productively in a day? Maybe 2 hours or 3 hours productively and with full concentration. Maximum 2 hours or 3 hours. Okay, that is what a student can read. See, people say that they read for 8 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, but that kind of reading is not going to be fruitful, and that kind of reading will exhaust you and will not help you develop critical thinking as well. Okay, or neither you will inculcate those what you have read, or neither you will be able to retain all of it. Okay, so if you read say 2 to 3 hours per day, that is enough, but your reading should be extremely focused, without distraction, without anything. Okay, also I would suggest you to stop socializing at this point of time and try to focus on the exam. After the exam, you can do the party and everything that you want to do. Okay, so students, those who have it is a mental block that I am a working professional, so whether I will get the time or not. You have the time, you can make at least 2 or 3 hours of your day. The thing is, you have to be doubly charged or doubly focused as compared to the full-time aspirant. Whatever you are going to do, it should be extremely focused, extremely sharp, and your concentration should be at its peak. Then and only then 2 hours or 3 hours study is going to be enough for you to clear this exam. Okay, so don't dwell too much whether I have the time or not. You have to make the time. There is no other way around it. I am suggesting you try to make 3 hours in a particular day and make it most productive. That's what you can do. So those are the questions that we got. Okay, and if you have any particular question or concern, you can directly reach us or call me. Okay, and I'll be happy to answer you. And I wish that those who are part of our OPC tree group, I wish you that all of you clear it, and then we'll take care of your mains. No need to worry on that. Many of you sent mails to us saying that, sir, the questions are very good, but we came to know it very late and all that. No need to worry. What has happened has happened. Okay, now focus on these 10 days and socialize. Don't socialize more, and do things that will help you de-stress, stay you calm, and while doing that, keep your keep your concentration focused on the exam at this point of time. Okay, after August 27th, after the exam is over, then your fate is sealed. If you are clearing the prelims, then it will be worthwhile to go for the mains and take the attempt. Okay, so don't take prelims lightly. At the same time, don't take it too seriously. That will be my advice to you. Okay, thank you, and any help, I am here.